Auzubillahi minash-shaytanir-rajim. Bismillahir-rahmanir-rahim. Assalamu alaikum, everybody. In this video, I'm going to discuss a new method that I've discovered for learning all of our grammar in just 30 minutes. It might sound amazing to you, but it's possible to do. So let's begin. Now, I have already told you in my last videos that the Arabic language is written in 3 vertical layers of meaning. And these meanings are known as the rasam, which is the basic, the core meaning, which is drawn by the shape of the letters. And then there are ijam is the dots basically, and the hamza. And then there's this tashkil or the harakat marks, which are the fatha, dhamma, kasra, sukun, and etc. So of these 3 layers, today we are going to discuss the tashkil, because the tashkil is the one that determines the grammar in the Arabic language. So let's see, the tashkil denotes basically grammar, syntax, and orientation, and ijam, which is the dots and the hamza, that's they give secondary meaning and consonant pointing like this, and rasam is the core meaning, right? And as I have discussed with before, the meaning is like this. First, there is this rasam. Rasam means drawing, so it draws the meaning in a like a picture. So here you see for the word qamar, the first of which has the object shape, the 2 object shape, and then mim means earth, and a heavenly object, and then another heavenly object, the second heavenly object, which is shown by these 2 dots, and then the ra is the circular orbit. And this ijam is the one in which the modern standard Arabic is written. Usually the tashkil is not written, but it's written for important documents and the Qur'an. And you'll see that in the qamar, the fatha, there is 2 fatha and 1 thunwin in the end. These are the tashkil, and this is the one which determines the grammar in Arabic. Now, there are 3 kinds of words in Arabic, 3 kinds of words called ism, fi'al, and harf. Now, usually a problem arises when learning the Arabic language for the non-native speaker is that the most of the books about Arabic language just translate ism as noun, but it's not, and they translate the fi'al as a verb and the harf as preposition. All 3 are incorrect. And the correct explanation is this: ism includes noun, pronouns, adjective, and adverbs. And the fi'al, the verb which is described, is actually actions which include the subject and object inseparably, okay, in this fi'al. And harf actually means preposition, but also means conjunctions, interjections, and another important thing which is very distinct in the Arabic language is the use of the particles. I will discuss all of this, inshallah. So you see, the difficulties at many levels of learning the Arabic language, because it's so different from any other human languages. For example, say the ism has a thing called tanwin or the al, which marks the definitive and the indefinite cases. For example, in Cameroon, the nun sound is there. Say there is a hidden nun, Cameroon, at the end of this, which is denoted by this double dhamma, and which means a satellite, right? In this case, so a satellite, it doesn't mean a satellite, it means a satellite. The indefinite article is built in this word by the tashkil. Or you can say al qamaru, in which case this noon basically means many things, because it's at the 4th position, many dots or many similar things. And then al qamaru means the satellite. The noon is removed and the dhamma becomes single, and so this al means the. And interestingly, see the definitive article, because it's more important, it's pointing something specific, so it is the first thing that is added. But when it is indefinite, the noon is added in the end place of the word. Okay, now this thing called tanwin, which is present only in ism and is not present in fi'al or harf. So this is very specific for the ism. This is a marker for ism, and it has 3 different kind of tashkil for this ism. One indicating the subjective, objective, and possessive cases, which is clearly shown here. Say if we study this sentence called Haza Kamarun Jamilun. See, interestingly, in here, this is a beautiful name. Is or just simply is omitted because it's not necessary in the Arabic language, because it's obvious that this is. And a beautiful moon. Here Kamarun means a moon, and Jamilun means a beautiful. See, so the both the noun and the adjective is ism, and both has to have either the definitive or the indefinite article. Either ways, it must have. Otherwise, it will not be an ism. And the way this three things is, there are three endings, different kinds of endings of the ism that shows the subjective, objective, and possessive cases, which is shown here. So kamarun or al kamaru would be the when this word is used as a subject, and when it's used as an object, it will be kamaran or al kamara. Okay, al kamara, and kamarin or al kamari would mean it's after a preposition, or in case of a possessive case. Okay, so you can see here haza kamarun jamilun. So this un sound is used for the subject. So this means this is the subject of the sentence. This is a beautiful moon. Or say hazal kamaru jamilun. Hazal kamaru. See the here kamaru, the nun has been removed, and but the nun remains with jamilun, because this means this moon is beautiful, right? Then hazal kamarul jamilun means this beautiful moon. The would be incorporated moon and beautiful at that time, right? And you see, if it is like object, ra'aitu kamaran jamilan, which means I saw a beautiful moon, the thunwin would be as an, right? And an extra alif is added. It is double fatha for the object, or it can be a single fatha if there is a the, right? And ra'aitu kama al kamarul jamilu, I saw the beautiful moon. I saw the beautiful moon. Here see, although this is it's saying, oh sorry, there is a mistake here. This should be actually a fatha, because ra'aitu means I saw. Here the subject is I saw, and so it should be al kamaral jamila, because it is uh, a object. It is an object, so it must be having a fatha. Okay, and yeah, so to avoid this confusion, I have put this green sign to indicate this case or the objective case. Okay, and for the possessive case or after preposition, they become what is known as majrur, or the in a double kasra. Zahabtu ila kamarin jamilin. So see, zahabtu ila kamarin jamilin and zahabtu ilal kamaril jamili. So the kasra becomes single in case of the al, because it is specific, right? And so you see, the ism shows many things in addition to showing the fact that it is a noun. It shows the case, the grammatical case in the Arabic language. It is and also shows the definitiveness of the indefinite. So many information is shown in here. Okay, so this tashkil is actually the vowels in Arabic. There are only 3 vowels in the whole of Arabic language, and these are written in 2 ways, as short vowels and long vowels. So the short vowels are the fatha for the a sound, and kasra for the e sound, and the dhamma for the u sound. And if there is no vowel, which is known as sukun, is shown as this object case, or the sukun, absence of a sound. And the doubling sound is shown as shadda. This sign shadda is shown as doubling sound. And the long vowels, so these are the short vowels, and the long vowels are shown with like this, with a double a sound, which is a fatha plus alif, and then double e sound, ya followed by the kasra, and wa followed by the dhamma would be the u sound, u sound. So this is a, e, u. This is a, e, and u, like this. Now, the use of this tashkil, as I have already shown you in my other videos, is highly intelligent in the Divine Arabic language. And you can see here, we already know that the sukun on the second letter means it is not a verb. It's a negative definition because the sukun means absence, so means verb is absent here. So if there is sukun on the second letter, it can be either a ism or it can be a harf. And if there is tanween on the third letter, this definitely means it's the ism because the verbs can never take the tanween or the al. So the presence of al or the tanween always means it's an ism. It has to be because there's no other way. Okay, now this tanween, as I've shown you before, can be three types, right? So one is showing the subject, which is marfun, marfu, and mansub, which is the object, showing the object, and the majrur, which we have seen in case of preposition, and also it can be in case of the ownership or in the genitive case. For example, kitabu hamidin. This means the book of Hamid or Hamid's book, right? Because this book belongs to Hamid. Actually, this is marfu here without the al, is because the translation is the book of Hamid. You have to understand this. Although it is the al is not mentioned here, but this is marfuun by its position. So, and Hamidin is majrur because this majrur shows the genitive case, that's one, and or it is after a preposition which shows the linkage, as I will explain to you when we go to harf. Okay, so all ism including adjectives have gender. They're either masculine or feminine, and one sign of the feminine is the ta marbuta. Now if I say ra'aitu baitan jamilan, it means I saw a beautiful house. Now here the baitan is a masculine word. So in Arabic, every word must have a gender, either a masculine or feminine. Okay, but it doesn't mean that something like a house has a feminine or a masculine quality. It doesn't actually. It is much more fundamental than that. Uh, let's first see. So Ra'aitu baitan jamilan. I saw a beautiful house. Remember that the tanwin must be on both the isms, means both the noun and the adjective. And Ra'aitu sayaratan jamilatan. Now, interestingly, this ta marbuta is showing the feminine thing, and something like a sayaratan is considered a feminine word. Okay, and then the adjective also must have the feminine marker. So ra'aytu sayratan jamilatan. Now, so see something like the shams is actually feminine. So you see, it has nothing to do with male or female. And then moon, mm, which you think as something like feminine, but actually it's a masculine word in the Arabic language. In reality, what I have found out is that this tama buta indicates a secondary thing because of these two dots. It means something additional or something which is needed, but so something like a bite would be primary necessary, and then this is like secondarily necessary, a car. All right. Now you see, if I write this, Ra'aitu Shamsan Jamilatan. So Shams, if you mention, because this is a feminine word, so it must have the ta marbuta on the this adjective. Okay. And Ra'aitu Kamaran Jamilan would mean this. I saw a beautiful moon because the moon is a masculine word, so it will have this extra alif. Alif is a marker for a man because of the obvious similarity with the male sex organ, as I have told you in my earlier videos. Okay, now the fiá-lun is again, it's not a verb. Remember, it's much more than verb. It contains many information. For example, about the action, the subject, the object, and grammatical tense, number, gender, and much more actually. So you see, I show here for if you say khalaqta, which means you created, khalaqta, and takhluqu means you create in the present tense, right? In the present tense, takhluqu. So the ta is the marker for the second person, and the fatha on the khalaqta is the male marker, right? And the female marker would be here khalaqati. That means you created, but when a female creates something, right? You in the female sense. And takhluqu means you create, but the male marker is there because it's a fatha, right? Takhluqu. And we know that the sukun on the first root letter means a present tense marker, or the action is just started and has not finished. But if there is sukun on the last letter, that would mean a past tense, or the action has been completed, right? Okay, now you have to, when you are learning Arabic for the first time, you have to learn three basic patterns related to the file or the verb, and then you have to learn three patterns for the ism. This is a must, because you see, from the same root so many words can be created in the Arabic language. For example, say in the fiá-lun, takhluqu means he creates, right? Present tense, or when the action is ongoing or incomplete. The see, takhluqu can also mean he will create in the future. Just that the action is not completed yet. But he created means halaka, which means he created. It's the action is complete, right? And there is a third tense in Arabic, ukhluk, and here the create means imperative, or like a command. So say another person is worked upon, right? On dhamma, one of the meaning of dhamma, we know that it is worked upon. So it's an order, or a command given to another person for creation. So these three patterns you have to learn by heart. And then on the ism side, you have to also learn three patterns. One is khalqun, means creation. This is the verbal noun, or the doing, right? When somebody is doing something. So the act of creation is khalqun. Huh? So the presence of the sukun on the second root letter would mean this is not a verb, and then the thunwin also means this is ism. And khalik means the creator. Here the alif obviously is showing the subject. The subject is shown because it is associated with the first root letter khalikun, and the tanwin is showing the system. And makhluk means is the object. Makhluk, and I've already told you, see in makhluk you can see the meme and the wow, which has the object shape. So makhluk means the object, or the receiver action, the done, right? So the doing khalkun, the doer khalikun, and then the done, or the creature in this case, which is makhluk. Like makhluk would be the creature on whom the action is done, right? And who is doing the action? The khalik, right? So like khalaka, khalikun, makhlukun would mean the creator created the creatures. Okay, all right. Now, so this is very important. Usually, from the root fa'ala, which means he did, you learn these six patterns. Three for the uh, three for the noun called fi'lul ma'di, which is the past tense, or the when the action is complete, perfect tense, and fi'lul mudari'a, which means the present or the future tense, yafalu, and if'al, it means do. This is fi'lul amr, or the command tense, right? And the ismul masdar, or the verbal noun, means fa'lun, the doing, and ismul fa'il, it means the active particle, which is fa'ilun, that is the doer, and ismul maf'ul would mean the passive particle, or on which the action is done. In this case, maf'ulun, the done, right? The done, the object. All right. Now, in case of the verbs in Arabic, the verbs incorporate, as I said, the subject and object as pronouns. Always, there is no exception to this. For example, you created him. This word in English language, it will be you created him, three separate words, right? But in Arabic, it's single word. Khalakahu, khalaktahu, khalakta. Ta, we know the khalaka is the verb, right? And then the ta here is the subject, and the who is the object. So it's already incorporated, as you can see. And when you say this is created, right, in the past tense, and in the present tense, takhluquhu, you create him. And see why it is like this is that in the present tense, or when the action is ongoing, then first the subject comes, then he's doing the action on the object. But uh, in the past tense, the verb is already done, right? The action is done, so it is brought first, and then the subject, and then the object. Very, very intelligent. So you see, similarly, you can say khalakata, which would mean he created you, because ta will mean you and who means him, right? Who means him, huh? And then takhlukuka, he created you, and he create you. Takhluku, because sorry, yakhlukuka, yakhluku, ya is the dot is below, so it would mean somebody which you cannot see, right? And ta would be somebody you can see, huh? Because the second person, huh? And yakhlukuka would be in the third person. And halaka, we know that he, and you is shown here by the ta, right? Halakata. And here the subject is this fatha on the last letter, this fatha. He created you, khalaqata. Okay, now you see, uh, now you see this file, fail, and maf'ul is a pattern that is followed in these verbs, right? So akhlukuka would mean I create you. So I, akhluku, and ka, right? You. But in the past tense, this ta in I means two, right? So khalaqtuka, khalaqtuka means I created you. So I in the past tense is shown by the ta with the dhamma, right? Dhamma, and it is brought after the verb, right? This is the difference you have to remember. So akhlukuka would always mean that is in the it's in the present tense. Whenever you see before the verb the subject, it means the present tense, right? Similarly, this you here is in the male, but see, akhlukuki would means I create you, and khalaqtuki would mean I created you, but in the feminine sense, when you're talking to a female, then the ka changes to ki, right? So in this case, the object changes, and then but it's always incorporated with the verb. That is the most important point. Okay, so the passive voice is very uncommon in Arabic language. So halaka means he created, and khulika means he was created, right? Khulika. We know that the Dhamma means is worked upon. So this whole halaka is worked upon on somebody else, which means he was created. Now, sometime in this Arabic language, you'll find that makhluk and khulika is kind of confusing, especially some word like say kutiba and maktub. Maktub means written, kutiba also means written. It's a problem with English language. You see, in Arabic it doesn't appear because you can clearly see that maktub is ism and kutiba is a fa'al, because there is a kasra here with the second letter, and there is no tanwin, so it is basically a verb. But maktub has a tanwin, so it means it's an ism. These are completely different, although in English they would appear the same. But the difference is very clear in here. Khulika means he was created, and makhluk means creature, right? Creature, the noun. All right, now this kind of conjugation, the subject and object as pronoun with the verb in Arabic, can happen in 14 different ways. These are called 14 different sigas. For example, for halaka, you can yakhluku for the huwa, or for he, and halakat for she, and halakata for you, anta means you in the male sense, and then halakti means anti, and halaktu means I, right? I created. Now, like this, you can have 14 different patterns, and these patterns goes for single per singular and plural and the dual cases. And mastering this is not so easy, but you can learn it. because what I have found is that you can actually make sense of these 14 patterns by studying, first of all, by understanding that the ha is a pronoun, marker for pronouns, whom, hunna, huma, hua, here. So see, here you can see, you can go from the third person male, female, and second person male, female, and first person male, female, like this. And then you can at least learn this pattern first. So know that in the past tense there will be addition of the letters after the verb halaku, right? Additional letters. Wa is a male marker, so alif is a male marker. So this means many people, and halakna means many, but we know noon. One of the meaning of noon is a female, so halakna would means they created, but female sense. And halaka means they, but here two, right? Two person created, and halakata would means two person created but feminine, right? Because of ta. And halaka would means he created, right? And halakat is she created. So ta is a marker for the feminine. So like these patterns, these 14 patterns you have to learn. Please study them and learn. If you like, you can pause this video and learn these patterns. And remember, from the prototype root fa'ala, you can learn fa'ala, which means he did. Yaf'alu means he does. If'al means do, as an order. And then fa'lun is the doing, fa'ilun is the doer, and maf'ul is the object, or on whom something is done, right? So please study them and learn them. And it's actually not so difficult if you understand some principle. And this is not at random at all. There is very good pattern, especially it matches with this 14. These are called siga, these 14 forms of the verb. They match with our divisions of the fingers, of the right hand representing the present tense, and the left hand representing the past tense, which I have given you here. It will take you a little bit of time to go through this, but you can understand them very easily from here, where you see this finger shows the first person, whereas these two fingers shows the second person, and the third person is shown by the small finger and the ring finger. And then on the right side, you can see I'm showing the persons, right? Persons, and on the left side I'm showing the numbers, means the singular, dual, and plural. Remember, Arabic has 3 different numbers instead of most of the language, which is 2. Arabic has the singular, dual, and then plural. Okay, and then there is gender, male, female, right? The gender is shown by the height, because you see it goes, the kasra is used, the up, right? So male gender is indicated by these 2 fingers, whereas female would be by this and these 2, because they are lower in height. So like this, you can associate them and you can learn these patterns very easily. Now remember, these attached pronouns can attach to verbs. For example, katabta, right? You wrote. See, katabta means you wrote, and katabti means you wrote, but yeah, the female, right? Female, right? Which I used the pink color for female, and the blue color for the male. But this attached pronoun can also attach to ism as well. For example, kitabuka means your book, and kitabuki also means your book, but feminine, right? And they can also attach to harf. For example, minka means from you, and minki means from you, with the feminine meaning. Okay, so now basic sentence pattern in Arabic is such that it has only 3, as I said, parts of speech or types of words. So it's very easy actually how it works compared to, say, something like English. So in English, you have to write like, say, 5 words. You went to the school, if you want to mention this, but in Arabic it will be only 3. Zahabta ilal madrasati. Here, zahabta is the verb, which incorporates the subject. Ta means, zahabta means you went. Ila means to madrasati, right? And this is preposition called, well, harf. But actually harf doesn't completely mean preposition, as we have seen. It incorporates the preposition and the particles. which is something I'll describe, and it can be meaning conjunction and other things as well. So it's broad. Of them, of the harf, the preposition is called harful jar, because it makes this ism into the majrur case. So in this case, see ilal madrasati, right? Ilal madrasati, this kasra is showing the majrur case for because there is a preposition. So this is indicating a linkage. So actually this preposition is used because it links the going, you're going to the school. Yeah, you have to understand this linking. So like if you say zahabta min al baiti ila al madrasati, it would mean you went from the house to the school. See, from and to. So this from and to is linking basically with this verb, right? So this is linkage. This linkage is shown by, say, this sukun on the al. In this case, right? Two ways it's shown. First, with this sukun, because me null. See, this alif is omitted in this case, and it becomes me null rather than with the minal, right? Minal baiti. So this kasra is also showing this linkage. So two ways shown, right? Therefore, by the majrur case of the ism, this linkage is shown. Okay, you can make very long sentences with this kind of linkages. Say in here I'm showing بالنيابة عن زملائي أتقدم بخالص الشكر للمؤسسة تقديرا لمساعدتها المالية. So this means here, on behalf of my colleagues, I advance sincere thanks to the Foundation in appreciation for its financial assistance. So here you see the linkage is shown. The harf here, the harf is red, and then the verb. There's only one verb here, which is green, and all the other the blue ones are the sum. You have to understand this very clearly. So see, the linkage is shown in several ways. First, the single letter preposition, single letter harf like be or li, they link with the ism. So see, so this is meaning, so this ataqaddamu or I advance, is being linked to different ism through these prepositions. Actually, it's not difficult at all. If you think about it, it's much more easier compared to English. All right, there are two types of sentences in Arabic. One is called the uh, al-jumlatul fi'liyatu, or the verbal sentence, and al-jumlatul ismiyatu, or the nominative sentence. It's just that if the verb comes first, it is al-jumlatul fi'liyatu. And one thing about this is that the basic form of the verb is always used, right? Basic form of the verbs, not the 14 conjugations doesn't apply. Basically, zahaba or zahabat would be there, and then you describe the ism and the linkage with the harf with the other. So here, see, zahaba ahmadu ilal masjidi. Here, this ila, this harf is linking, of course, the going, also ahmad, with the masjid, right? This linkage you have to understand, right? And then one difference between these two is that so see, something like jumlatul ismiyatu has no verb. In Arabic, in English, this is not possible, right? This flower is beautiful. Is there, right, as a verb, but in Arabic there's no is, and hazihi zahratul jamilatu, right? Hazihi zahratul jamilatu, this flower is beautiful, right? And Jamilatun, this Jamilatun, see, has the ta marbuta, and that's why the hazihi is used instead of haza. This tidbits you learn in no time, no problem. But one thing to notice is that this in this sentence, because the verb is used first, this means the verb is more important. Whatever is more important is brought first in the Arabic language. You remember that. Okay. Now the harf, as I said, linking function it has, and you can see here, uridu an azhaba ilal madrasati, I want to go to the school. Now here you see there's two verbs, uridu and azhaba, and they are linked by this harf an, which is in English translated as to, or say that. So this would be I want that, I go. And then you see here the verb is mansub, and mansub, one meaning of the mansub would be meaning that this action has not happened yet. It may be happening in the future, right? Because I'm just wanting, I've not gone there yet. So if I say azhabu means I go, I mean, you say he's sure he's going, right? And then uridu an azhaba ilal madrasati, right? I want to go to the school. So this linking function is very, very important. And one thing to say is that the preposition never comes before the verb in Arabic. Remember this. So we know that be is a preposition. Say one thing from the Quran is Wallahu bima ta'maluna khabirun. Here, because there's be and then a ma is added as a particle. Bima, huh? Bima, with what you do. So you have to add this particle with the preposition if you used before a verb, which is ta'maluna khabir here, right? From the root word amila, to know, right? So Allah is acquainted with what you do. So this is very, very important to realize. Finally, the verb, especially the not especially the you see the past tense, which is al-mazi, is actually mabni, means it doesn't change, but the mudari has three different forms, like the ism. It has three different forms. It can be muzariul marfu, the indication is with the dhamma, and then it can be which is called indicative in English, and mudariul majzum called jasib, which is shown by the sukun, and the subjective, or which is shown by the fatha, is muzariul mansub, right? Mansub. So mansub marfu is like the case of ism, but there is no majrur case in case of verb. Instead, there is majzum, means the action has not taken place. So say lam taktub means you did not write, right? And yeah, you did not write, so the action is not started or ended, means you did not write, right? Because the action was not done. That's why it is the jasib case or majzum. The absence is shown by the sukun. And la taktubu means you are not writing. La taktubu, when it is marfun case, it means you are not writing, right? And then the indicative case. And then the la taktub would be do not write. Do not write. Don't write. Huh? Don't write. So see, this is very, very different from the past tense, which is shown by the lam. The meme here shows the past tense. And lan taktuba, which is the mansub case, means you will not write. It is hoped that you do not write, right, in the future. That's why the action is not done. That's why it is the subjective or the mansub case. Now, yeah, this is very important to understand that the subject and object in English language is shown by the position. For example, the snake killed the farmer. Uh, the meaning completely changes if you say the farmer killed the snake, right? But in Arabic, see, you can change them without any problem. For example, and then we know that for the subject it has to be marfun. So al-su'banu qatalal fallaha. So here at su'banu, because with dhamma, this is the marfun case and this is subject, and al-fallaha is the object, and this is the verb, right? But if you change the word order, say al-fallaha qatal al-su'banu, the meaning is same. The snake killed the farmer, right? Or you say qatal al-su'banu fallaha. Or in all of this, the meaning is the same. Basic meaning is the same. The snake killed the farmer, but there is differences actually. If you bring this first, means the snake killed the farmer. The snake, huh? Emphasis on the. And then if you bring al-fallaha before, so this will mean the farmer was killed by the snake. And qatalal su'banul fallaha, here the verb is emphasized, or the action that the snake killed the farmer. So meaning is like this, huh? So see, Arabic is extremely versatile. Ordinary human languages cannot actually compete with this. Now the farmer killed the snake. If you put the opposite, al-su'bana qatal al-fallahu, or you can change the word order of fallahu qatal al-su'bana, which meaning would be the same, right? Now there is also Arabic is dual plural, so two snake killed the farmer would be al-su'bani qatal al-fallaha. So here ani is the alif is the marker for the marfun case, and the farmer killed this al-su'banaini qatal al-fallahu, right? So banaini, here see dhamma is the marker for the subject, and then the object is shown by the this I 90, right? Lastly, the farmer killed the snake means Allah fallahuna katalul subhana, right? The farmers, una, right? The here the marfun case is shown by un, right? And yeah, you can change the word order like this or like this. All right, so I guess you have learned the basics, very basic Arabic grammar for all cases. I have tried to include everything in this very short way. I will inshallah making more videos like this in the future. Until then, Allah Hafiz.